The City of Brainerd City Council meeting, it's Monday, June 2nd. It's close enough to 7:30, and I call the meeting to order. Administrator Bergman, please call the roll.
Erickson.
Here.
O'Day.
Here.
Stunek.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Pritchett.
Here.
Stengline.
Here.
Bevins.
Here.
And Badeau.
Here. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mic up.
All right, item 4 is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, well, P and F is on the ball.
We are on the ball
We have a
today.
motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Item 5, the consent calendar. All matters listed are considered routine by the council, will be enacted by one motion. There'll be no separate discussion on these items unless good cause is shown prior to the time the council votes on the motion to be adopted by roll call. Is there a motion to
So
adopt the consent calendar? Stengline?
Second.
Oh, second by Pritchett. Any discussion? Hearing none. Administrator Bergman, please call the roll.
Erickson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes.
Stunek.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pritchett.
Yes.
Stengline.
Yes.
And Bevins.
Yes. Next up is the Honorable Mayor Badeau for the Community Member of the Month.
Well, well, well. It is that time, of course, when we get to recognize individuals in our community who have stepped up. I'm glad that we're doing this on a night when we have so many people in the audience, because this is a fun one for me. This is a group that I've worked with on my day job side of things on a heavy level, we'll call it, a heavy level. And this is one of those projects that a couple people, literally two moms, as I like to say, two moms, saw something in the community that they wanted to see happen. And they set to work in trying to make it happen. I'm talking about the splash pad. And we've talked about the splash pad many, many times. We've had ribbon cuttings, we've had opening ceremonies, we've had all sorts of things. But this to me is an opportunity for us as a city to thank the individuals behind it and to do so officially. This is the very official moment. The splash pad was something that both Emily and Meta saw as something they wanted to see in the community, and then you set to work in getting it done, and then you realize that sometimes that can be a long journey, and sometimes it can be a frustrating journey. And it was fun to work with you guys. It was fun to be able to see behind the scenes and have the conversations and talk about, you know, the hurdles and the struggles and where do we go next and what do we do and how do we continue to move forward when things sometimes feel like you're up against the wall. And for me, it was so satisfying watching you guys take those last struggles at the end and get to the point where we are today, which is kids playing in water. And it is exciting. I don't know if any of you had an opportunity to get to the splash pad yet, but Memorial Park means a lot to me. I've said that a lot of times. I grew up in Northeast Brainerd. Memorial Park is where we hung out. We rode our bikes down there. At that time, there was a little creek over there. You could get in there with the tadpoles and whatnot, explore back in the woods. But we spent a lot of time there as kids. And it's a park that oftentimes is underutilized, and it's great to see a project that is bringing kids to that park. And I have driven by there many, many times in the last month now, and it is always packed. And I'm sure that will continue to be the case on these super hot days, but I think that what we're able to see is a couple citizens, a couple community members take a project that they're really interested in seeing happen and then actually do the work to get it done. And so it is my honor as the mayor to present to both Emily Rolfson and Meta Magic the Community Member of the Month. And I'm going to read what it says here: for your dedication to the children of the city of Brainerd through your leadership in the Splash Pad project.
Yeah, because we need a photo op.
Don't mess this up. This one's not.
Wait, I'll check the cooler.
So I gotta get
Absolutely.
Okay. So I just want to say thank you first and foremost for helping make this happen. Without that final push from City Council, it would have never become a reality. And I just want to say that like 27 years ago, Bonnie was my, I'm going to tear up here, my high school marketing teacher. And it was during a time when, you know, you're high school, you're rebellious, and we wanted to have a youth center at that time. And we came up with a plan. We had thousands of petitions. Nowhere really went with it because we're just kids, right? One thing she told me is if you ever have a goal and if you ever have a plan, never, ever give up. So to stand here today and to see your benches passing is so important to me, and it's such an accomplishment. And this whole project has really humbled me from my high school years to today. So I just want to thank you guys for giving us that one last push. That was really important. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right, next up is item 7, the council committee report. 7A is Personnel and Finance Committee Chairman Gabe Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have 6 items on the agenda, the first of which is to consider a cable channel agreement with CLC, and the motion is to enter into agreement with Central Lakes College to host and operate a cable channel, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Johnson, a second by Stunek. Any discussion? Chairman Johnson.
All right, Sean's put in a lot of work on this, and we're right here, we're at the end, we have the agreement. If we get this signed, get it over to them, we could be on cable in our first meeting in July, right, Sean? Correct. So this is an exciting time for all of those CTC subscribers. Charter subscribers or Spectrum subscribers are going to need to wait for that company to get the proper equipment in place.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next up is consider a shared services agreement with Crow Wing County. And the motion is to authorize the signature on the agreement amendment for the 2023 shared maintenance service agreement, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Johnson, a second by Stengline. Any discussion? Chairman Johnson.
As you saw in the packet, they gave us a breakdown of where they spend the time, what type of maintenance they delivered to us last year. We used about 1,351 hours of the 1,500 contracted, so we're pretty close there. And this year, they did increase their fee by a few $1,000s after it having been flat for 2 years.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you. Next up is to consider declaring Lakes Area Music Festival annual event a community festival. And the motion is to consider the annual Lakes Area Music Festival events that run for 24 days as a community festival, thereby allowing the Lakes Area Music Festival to hold more than one temporary liquor license within a 30-day period. All of this contingent upon the school district final approval if they allow alcohol in the school or not, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by Johnson, a second by Stunek. Chairman Johnson.
So the school district, I don't know if you've seen, they're working on possibly allowing certain events to have alcohol in certain parts of their schools, and they're not done with it yet. But if they do finalize that and allow Performing Arts Center, wine at the Performing Arts Center, the Lakes Area Music Festival would like to serve that, and they need to be a community festival to be able to serve at all of their events.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Next up is to consider request for ARPA funds for the EDA, and the motion is to authorize the allocation of $80,000 in ARPA funds to the EDA to be used as matching grant funds to eligible organizations or businesses for the DEED Main Street Revitalization Program, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stengline. Chairman Johnson.
So we did, DEED funded the Initiative Foundation, who has a 30%, 70% grant match in the downtown corridor. We're going to pull these funds out of the ARPA funds to have a secondary grant program to kind of be more than a 30% match. We can put in some local funds with the state funds and hopefully get some good projects off the ground downtown Brainerd.
Thank you. Any further discussion? ARPA funds, if they don't know, is go ahead.
American Recovery Program Act?
Rescue?
Federal Code.
Rescue, they rescued us, yes, thank you.
All right, hearing no further discussion, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is discussion on use of ARPA funds for public works projects. And the motion is to direct staff to come back to the council with a list of all possible projects we could do in the city with the ARPA funds. And we'll discuss it as a council to determine what our priorities are. And I so move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Stunek. Chairman Johnson.
The agenda request asked for 2 specific projects, but these 2 specific projects were also talked about at our February workshop, where the direction at the end of the workshop was, let's look at this complete picture and prioritize from there. So we're going to try and do that, and I think staff is confident they can get us a list by either the workshop or our first meeting in July.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, that motion carries. Thank you. Please proceed.
All right, and the final item on the agenda is an update for request for funds to be returned to the city from Lakes Area Media Collaborative. And the update is, well, we sent out a new letter and we included more of their board members on it. So maybe we'll hear back.
Spiced it. We spiced it.
We added some serious spice to it. I liked
Nothing
it.
yet?
No, we haven't heard anything yet, though.
Thank you. Thanks for the update. Anything else?
End of report.
Thank you. Next up is Safety and Public Works Chairman Mike O'Day.
Thank you, Mr. President. Safety and Public Works, we had 4 items on the agenda tonight. The first 2 had to do with each other, same project, 2 different agreements. So the first one was an agreement amendment for improvement 19-02 Cuyuna Lakes State Trail Road and Parking Lot Improvements. A motion coming out of committee was to approve the attached agreement amendment for the subcut work for improvement 19-02 NP Center Site improvements and authorizing payment to Mr. Higgins in the amount of $14,467.50 for the work completed, and I so move.
Motion by O'Day. Is there a second?
Erickson.
Thank you. Second by Erickson. Any discussion? Chairman O'Day.
So this was one of those unforeseen things that happens on these projects. Basically, the soil, as you get closer to the wetlands and out into the Superfund site, was not tested, but now we're finding that there's some unsuitable soil for a trail, and there's willows growing underneath it that would eventually pop through the trail. So instead of risking our trail falling apart in that segment, what we're gonna do, what we've already done, I understand, is dig out the bad soil and bring in sand and weed block as well after we get the willows out. I think this work is already done, correct, Paul?
He started on it, not done.
Started on it, okay. So this section, this item is just having to do with the work that Mr. Higgins has done. It wasn't in our original agreement, but we're just adding it to the agreement, so he's paid for what he has done.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Second item was a change order for the actual improvement 19-02 Cuyuna Lakes State Trail NP Center segment. Motion coming out of committee was to approve the change order 1 as presented, and I so move.
Second.
Motion by O'Day, second by Pritchett. Any discussion? Chairman O'Day.
So Knife River has been a big part of the paving and supplying different materials that we need for this project. The total change order amount for the material that they're bringing in to fill under the trail, it was $45,640, and that's what this change order is representing. This part of this change order is actually reimbursable by the DNR funds, which we do still have more than that available.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of change order number 1, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Please proceed.
Thank you. Third item was a cooperative construction agreement with the state of Minnesota for Highway 25 Bridge Project SP 1811-35 TH25-18. Motion coming out of committee was just to adopt the attached resolution, which enters into the agreement with MnDOT for the bridge replacement project, and I so move.
Second, Erickson.
We have a motion by O'Day, a second by Erickson. Any discussion? Chairman O'Day?
I can just explain this. This is a project that we handed over some funds to MnDOT to help design this section of the trail from where it crosses by 10th Street, all the way over the train tracks at the new bridge and into 28th Street. So this is just a maintenance agreement, but this is basically MnDOT has all the design work done as far as we know. It won't be done until next year, this section. But this just says that the city will maintain the trail at whatever level we want.
Any questions or discussions? I have a question, Mr. Chair, and maybe it's for Mr. Sandy. Will this, as you're going from the MP Center and you go east through the swamp into the bridge, will you eventually end up on the north side of 25? 25 kind of curves east-west as it comes into town. So you're ready to connect, to head east once you get across 210 and go out by the airport and connect to Riverton. Will you be on the correct side of the road to make that happen?
Yeah, so, thank you,
Or
Mr.
will we have a
President.
whole nother project that require hot air balloons to get you across 25?
So, we've been having a bunch of conversations with MnDOT about their 2026 reconstruction of Highway 210. And so the inevitable goal is to get pedestrians from the south side of 25 to the north side of 210 where that existing trail takes place.
That's exactly my question, is if
Yep.
that's gonna be able to happen without.
That'll happen during the 2026 construction project.
Excellent, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. Please proceed.
Oh, yeah.
Resolution?
Oh, yeah, resolution. Thank you very much.
Eric-
Yes, please call the roll.
Erickson. Yes. O'Day. Stunek.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Pritchett.
Yes.
Stengline.
Yes.
And Bevins.
Yes, that resolution is adopted. Please proceed.
Yeah, the fourth and final item from SPW is also a resolution authorizing an agreement with the state of Minnesota to provide public transportation services in the year 2023. Motion coming out of committee was to recommend adopting the attached resolution as proposed to allow proper signatures on the grant agreement with the state of Minnesota, and I so move.
Second.
We have a motion by O'Day, a second by Pritchett. Any discussion? Chairman O'Day.
Yeah, we had Mr. Stone in here, kind of answer some questions about how things are going. It sounds like ridership is up and climbing back towards where it was pre-COVID. This agreement is no different than what we've had this year. The state covers the vast majority of expenses, leaving us with operational costs of 5% and 10% of capital costs. And we were assured that the ridership where it is right now is actually paying for that loss, so.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none. Administrator Bergman, please call the roll.
Erickson.
Yes.
O'Day.
Yes.
Stunek.
Yes.
Johnson. Pritchett.
Yes.
Stengline.
Yes.
And Bevins.
Yes, that resolution is adopted. Mr. Chair, anything else?
End of report.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item 8, unfinished business. Item 8A is the final reading of proposed ordinance 1532. This is an ordinance amending the Brainerd City Charter. I have a little conflict here, and that's that on the agenda I printed off, it shows the reading first, then the hearing. On the one in the computer, it shows the other way around. So, Mr. Attorney, do you have a preference as to which one we do first? It doesn't matter. All right, then we'll start with the public hearing, okay? So if you are online and wish to speak on this, you need to hit *3, and that'll let us know that you're interested in speaking, and then when it's your turn, we'll call you, and *6 will unmute you. If you're in the audience, you need to just come forward. You'll need to state your name and your home address, and then we're going to try and keep this to, a minute or two. I think we'll get the idea fairly soon. Dan, can this group do, the senior center, get their point across in 20 minutes, you think? All right, and do you want to go first?
Mr. President,
Yes.
that's the next item on the agenda.
Oh,
This is all the changes except,
I'm sorry. We're going to get to this public hearing on the stuff, on the changes. The first part is all the changes, but the charter levies, okay? My apologies, thank you very much.
Mr. President, I
Yep.
believe there are some changes to the charter levies in the first one as well.
In the first one as well, okay, thank you. So the first one is ordinance 1532. And we're going to hold the public hearing on 1532, and this is the one that has all kinds of stuff, Chapter 1, name, boundaries, powers, and divisions, that sort of stuff. A lot of stuff, but it's not the levies for the senior center, the ARB. Yes, Deanne, come, you have to come up to the microphone, but since I screwed this up, I'll let you come up and get a clarification. Come on, it's okay.
It does include, it includes the funding being
Please address us at the microphone.
Yeah, you gotta come to the microphone, I'm sorry.
Deanne Barry, 18610 Smith Road, Brainerd, Minnesota. I am Director of the Center, 803 Kingwood Street. Amongst the pages of documentation, it is a change, splitting the funding to multiple organizations instead of to one. So it is a change.
Yep, it is a change, and you'll get to speak on this one too if you choose.
All right?
Okay, so we're gonna start with the public hearing on that one. So you wanna stay, you can. So we're gonna open the public hearing on 1532. Sorry to screw you up, but you're right.
So do I have to do my name and all that again?
No, you just did. You're
All right.
perfect.
So I would like to do some explanation on the article Nonprofit Funding in Jeopardy that was published on Sunday, June 12th. The media did not get anything construed. It was just information from City Council meeting, charter meeting that I would like to address for a little bit. Addition of senior services, senior programming was added in 1982. It was voted on, it was a referendum, and it became part of the charter in 1983. It was passed by a vote of the citizens of Brainerd. It was put on a ballot. It wasn't temporary funding. Nowhere was temporary funding, startup funding part of the wording. It was a referendum. It was meant to be permanent funding. It was meant to be ongoing funding to sustain senior programming within the city of Brainerd and the area. The center part of the article talks about, maybe we can't fundraise, but we certainly do. 65 to 70% of our budget is fundraising. Donuts you're probably familiar with. Plants, if you're a gardener, you maybe come to our plant sale. Rummage sale, barbecue dinner, bingo events. Quilt bingo is this Sunday. Come and join us. Some of our events, we have fun while we are fundraising. Another thing in the article was mentioned that LGA funding could be reduced if the city's charter states that we're donating to nonprofits. That is not true. As per a representative from Carrie Rue's office, LGA funding is based on housing units built pre-1940, from 1940 to 1970, household size, number of businesses, employees within the city of Brainerd, peak population decline, scarcity adjustments. It has nothing to do with funding to nonprofits. There's been some questions that we over budget with our facility. We host 54 activities, Monday through Friday. 5 to 6 happen off-site. Where would you suggest that we go that we can afford? Our building is paid for. We've paid for our building. Expenses, yes, utilities are expensive, but we've done some serious renovations to our building as well. Commercial air conditioners on the ends of 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. If you have an office in the building, that isn't enough when it's 100 degrees, as Tiffany can attest to. But we've replaced all the windows in all 4 floors in the main level. Entrances, doors, main level flooring, painted the walls, the hallways, redone a couple roofs. We've done this not only with grant dollars, but with commitments from our own members as well. And yes, membership is only $20 an annual fee. But when you think about some of our members living on Social Security, their income is $2,000 a month. Out of that comes a health supplement. Average is about $270.